Alright, it's been about an hour. This thing is not user friendly. I'm going to reach over here. It's going to be a little shaky. It'll be alright. I'm holding this freehand because what I want to do, show you, here's the output section. I mean the filter section right here. It looks hard. It looks contrived. Not really contrived. That's the wrong word. It's better than it was. But I have a terminal strip here, and this is where the filter caps, an 80, an 80, and a 30 are connected. So the output of the rectifier is right here. The output of the rectifier, like I said, is right here off of, I think, pin 7. Comes straight over to this 80 microfarad capacitor right here. Alright, and then it has this red wire, if you can see it, this red wire all the way over here to this point. That splits off, goes through this 820 ohm resistor, comes back over here to the 33 microfarad capacitor, and that branches off and it powers, goes to the audio output stage, which is here. So I've rewired it a little bit, got rid of all that old ratty looking wiring. So now this output, this resistor here, goes straight over to the output. And which is unusual because normally the main rectifier outputs usually connect straight to, see right here, the plate of the audio output goes through the output transformer primary, comes down, try not to be too shaky, I don't want to upset nobody, comes down to right here, this comes down through here, so there's that resistor there, and here's this 30 microfarad capacitor. Odd, usually you'll see the outputs tied directly on the output, but in this case of the output of the rectifier, but in this case it's going through a filter before it gets there. So it's going through a pause section filter before it even gets there. It's kind of weird, but I guess it's okay. So anyway, I fixed that, changed this 680 ohm resistor right here. Also, this 1 meg was about 1.5 meg. I think we measured that and you saw it. And then that resistor there had a capacitor tied to it, which this is actually the plate load right here of the detector tube, first preamp. So that's your what that 47's doing, who knows. Anyway, this capacitor right here, coupling cap to the grid of the output tube. Okay. Anyway, I had to change several resistors. In that stage, I had to change this 820 right here. It was out of tolerance. So I have the power supply finally done. The next stage is this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. So I'm going to do them and bring you back. Okay, it's been a little bit more time has passed here, and been a little bit busy. I've changed 1, 2, 3, 4 paper caps. Got all that done. I got the power supply recapped. Put a line cord on it. I'm not done with that yet, so don't judge me. I actually took the hot side and went through a 2 amp pigtail fuse into the switch. Then the output of that goes over to the radio, which may be backwards. I think I probably is backwards now that I think about it. I really need to put that fuse on this side. I didn't think about that because this is the low side of the chassis right here. Yeah, I got it backwards again. I got to fix that. I need to put this fuse on the high side. Pretend you don't see that. Anyway, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more caps to go, and probably 100 resistors. I didn't said I was going to change any resistors, but I wound up changing them anyway. They were just too far off. I hadn't checked this one. I remember that one's, I think, pretty good. But I've got another one down here. This is this kludge capacitor here. This is an afterthought here. And I got to figure out what they're doing there, because I have found so many things in this radio. It's not even funny. Like the detector circuit here is changed up. They've changed a few things in the detector, and I believe that's because the tube is not quite the same, so they had to make some changes on it. So anyway, I'm still working through this cotton picking thing. I've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, one bit on the top. I still got all those to change, as I've said. And put the rectifier, I think it's the rectifier tube. Yeah, put the rectifier tube in once I get it, and see what happens. And then I've got to fix this. I get that. I screwed up. I should have put this fuse has got to go on the high side, which is here. This is the low side because they switched the low side. Either that or I just rewire it. I might do that. Take this wire right here. This wire, that's what I'll do, and this wire right here, and switch them. When I do that, now it'll be switched high side. Yeah, that's a simpler thing. I'll do that. Thanks for letting me know that. See you in a little while. All right, this is the second day of the component replacement. I started on this 0.01 right here. Wound up yesterday having to put this. I called for a 0.001 down here, and I didn't have a 0.001, so I thought I was putting a 0.0022 in there. For some reason or another, it's a 0.022. I really don't care at this moment. This spot right here, this spot right here, and here to there, and here to there, were all of these four dudes right here. So I'm replacing them all with this. But to get to that point, I had to, and to change this stuff out, I wound up having to change another 680 ohm resistor in the power supply stage. So I had to change all that, clean all that mess up. So now I'm about to work on this section right here, but before I do that, I need to make sure what's going on in this area right here. This area here has been kind of something. You see that little tab coming off right there, going somewhere, or went somewhere. I don't know what exactly going on. This is part of the field modifications that was done to this radio half a century ago. So it looks like I'll have to change this capacitor right here. That will clean up all that mess right there, and then I'll have to clean up all this mess here, put the new caps in, put everything back at lowest, and I should be done with this section of the radio. Once I get those capacitors done, I've got 3 to go here, 1 to go here. They're all 0.01s. So we'll get those done, and then the next one will be this capacitor right here, which that shouldn't take long. That's really easy to get to. And that's all the capacitors, unless I find a resistor or something out of tolerance. And then there's one capacitor back over here, down here somewhere, that I'll have to change. That won't take me long. And good news is the tube is out for delivery. So I'm excited. We might be able to get this radio going today before I have to quit on it for the weekend. Anyway, when I get this done, I'll bring you back. Okay, been a little bit of time, about an hour I think. Trying not to be shaky, I don't want people to get upset. But anyway, I finally changed those 4.01s right there on this circuitry right here. I think this is all AGC and coupling. Then I changed this 0.01 at going from over here to there. I changed that. Check these resistors here. They're not 100% on, but I think they're close enough. Leave them alone. So I've got all of that from here to here done. So the only capacitor I got left on the bottom is this guy right here. I'm about to change it, It's another 0.01 at 400, and then I'm going to flip it over and change the remaining capacitor on here. Then I'm going to go back and look at things a little closer, make sure everything's good, and then I'll just be waiting on the tube, and we'll be ready to rock and roll. Bring you back on the next segment. Alright, I have finished recapping this radio as far as the bottom side is concerned. Started over here. Everywhere I went, I had to repair stuff and clean stuff up. So this is what you get. I redone the AC input right here. You know, these things switch neutral. I reversed it to where it switches hot. Put a fuse in line. I think that's a 2 amp 250 volt fuse. It wasn't leaded. I went ahead and very carefully tack soldered leads to it. So now that's done. All the filter caps right here are done. All these other little paper caps have been changed. That was the last one I had to change right there. Goes to ground somewhere. I think that's the antenna circuit. I'm not sure. But here's all the attrition so far. And I got a bag around here somewhere that's got a few more pieces in it. But the bottom side's ready to go. So I'm fixing to flip it over, and there was one capacitor on the top that I got to change. Then I'll be ready to go. And without doing a lot of research, this is a resistor here. I forgot how many ohms it measured, but anybody remember the color codes on these old things? Just kind of let's throw it in the comments there. I'm too lazy to look it up. It measured 500 and something K, I think. So it's got a green band, a green body. So I assume, I think it's a BEM or something like that. So I'm 50 something. I think that's a yellow. So if it is, it's a 50 yellow for 4 zeros. I don't know if that's 5 meg or 5. I don't know. I hadn't seen one of them things in years, and I don't remember how to read them. Anyway, we'll flip it over, change the capacitor on the other side, and go and make some checks. Make sure everything is right to the best of my ability, according to what. No telling what kind of hacks has been done to this radio. I found several. So, waiting on the tube. Tube should be in here any time now, and hopefully we'll put it in. We'll put it on the Variac under the dim bulb tester, and we'll start raising the voltage up slowly and checking for stuff and checking B plus and all this. Maybe this stupid thing actually come to life. Wouldn't that be amazing? Alright, I'll bring you back after I do the top side. Alright, I'm on the top side of the radio now, and this is where one of the capacitors I pulled came from right here. This is the external antenna input right here. On this terminal, and then the capacitor was right there. And okay, so alright, prepare for shaky cam. Try not to shake it too much, or somebody pester me on the phone. They'll just have to wait. But right here is the antenna terminal that I just showed you, and it shows here the C33 150 microfarad or picofarad. Goes down here to the antenna coils and all this mess. There's a 250 picofarad right here, another coil, and then this coil here at ground. Anyway, 150 picofarad or microfarad. It was one of these three capacitors which came out of that section there, and I don't remember which one it was now. But that definitely ain't a picofarad capacitor. So I got to looking. Shaky cam, yep, only way I know to do this. Alright, the green wire right here, if I can get it. Yeah, I shake a little bit because I've had more caffeine than I can handle. Anyway, bear with me, okay? Yes, I know, shaky cam, sue me. Anyway, the green wire goes all the way right there. If you can see it, there is a molded mica right there, and there's your 150 microfarad capacitor. All right, However, one back up here, I just didn't notice it till now. Look right there. This little terminal strip was not original to this radio. See that very poorly soldered connection here where this terminal strip is. Somebody added a capacitor from here to there. Not sure why. So now I got to decide and figure out which one of these I pull out of there first off, and do I want to clean this up and duplicate what they had. They did it for some reason, I don't know. So that's my next step, is figuring that out. So let me figure that out and try to figure out why I have extra capacitors here. So let me get all that done and figure out who that is texting me, and I will come back. Alright, let's take another look at this right here before I move on. Remember I said the antenna connector was right here, which is this guy right here. Well, they had this big old boy right here, a old 0.01 microfarad, 1200 volts. Paper cap. Right there. I had to go back and look on my first video. Anyway, that was not called for on the schematic. This lead right here was actually connected directly to this. This was soldered in quite poorly, I might add. I've redone that, and I put it like they had it, even though there's this 150 microfarad, which I don't know why they put that other capacitor in there. I don't know. At this point, I just want to leave it kind of like I found it. It's not going to hurt nothing to have that capacitor in there. However, I didn't have a 1200. I just put a 400 in. But quite honestly, I don't think I'm going to have this thing running, hooked up to anything. And it's just for the purpose of this channel, to rebuild something that has been highly modified, we'll say. And the other thing, while I was looking at this right here, I run across this wire right here. It was just bent, kind of just laying up here. I have no clue at all what it was for. Weird to have a gimmick capacitor coming up there. I have no idea what that's for. So I'm about to trace this out and find out where it goes, and figure out what in the daylights were these people thinking. What were they smoking back then? Anyway, maybe some bad Prince Albert, I don't know. So let me find out where that stupid thing goes and probably eliminate it, because I don't see anything it could connect to. So I'll bring you back. Okay, that didn't take me long. Remember, this capacitor right here is a 0.01 at 400, and I noticed that it was one side of it was tied to the chassis. Then this side here was a green wire coming over here. Well, I got to looking. That green wire is the green wire that we were just talking about. And that green wire in that capacitor is right here. It says external ground for battery operation. Yeah. What it says. So I think I'm just going to pull that lead off right there. I'm going to leave the capacitor in there. I'm going to pull this lead off, pull it out. Actually, it's not hurting a thing. I'm just going to kind of roll it up in there, leave it alone. So now that I've got all that figured out, I know where this one came from. That was that 0.01 at 1200. That goes in the crap pile, in the scrap pile, whatever you call it. Then I got to figure out where this bad boy came from. Yet another 0.01 at 600. That thing's light as a feather. Who made this thing? Sprague 600. No, yeah, 600 line. Then another paper cap. This one's a 0.05 at 200. So I got to figure out where that one came from, and I got to figure out where that one came from, make sure I'm not missing nothing. So let me figure them out, which means I got to probably look back on my videos to figure out where these come from. But that's where we are so far. So bring you back as soon as I make some more gigantic discoveries. Alright, always document stuff before you start ripping them out, boys and girls. But anyway, this little funky looking capacitor here was on the second video of Silvertone, and we'll look at it here, shaky cam and all. It's buried right there. Here it is, right here. That's that capacitor, and I found that these actually this pointed to where it terminated right there. Look at me. So that's right there, and that's actually on the back end of the oscillator coil, local oscillator coil, and it's a 68K it's attached to. So I was able to find it. However, by the way, that 68K is about 96K, so I have to replace that too. Anyway, the other side was this little piece right here. I was trying to remember what the devil hooked to that thing, but now I know. That's actually ground right there, electrical ground right there. So now I know where this cap's what its function is. It's a bypass cap. It's a bypass cap. Shaky cam coming up, boys and girls. But anyway, right there, the 68K R42 goes to the screen grid, the 1L6 or what's in its place. I don't remember, but anyway, that's this dude right here, y'all. So I found out where that one is. So I'm going to go in, and this is the 68K, which is measuring almost 100K. So got to change that. Woohoo! So I get to change that guy right there and put the new capacitor in, and I'll hook it from there, and I'll run it over here to this tab here, and everything will be good. And then we got to figure out, we'll throw that over there. Then we got to figure out this guy. This guy here, though, come from down here. It went over here somewhere, according to what I looked at on the skid. So we'll figure this one out and we'll get to it. Let me go ahead and take care of this right here first. So bring you back on the next segment. Alrighty. Finally you got the 68K resistor right there. Change, it's hard to see in the light, but that's it right there. Got the mystery 0.01 bypass cap, which is here. I've got it replaced, going to ground. So I got all that done. All this is resoldered back. Everything's good there. So the last thing, there's this capacitor right here, and which is somewhere in here. So that's the next thing that I got to look for. So let me figure that out, and I'll bring you back once I figure out what it is. All right. This capacitor right here is a 105 at 200. It came from, according to the pictures I've got, somewhere in here. So I got to looking. Alright, where's a 0.05? And the first one I came across was C14, 0.05. Well, that happens to come from our old buddy right here, out of the 680, the RF IFB Plus section, which is actually that test point right there, and it has nothing on it as far as a bypass cap. So that jumper's over here to this point, if you can see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another 0.01, and I'm going to jumper or connect it from here to here, which is ground, and that should complete our bypasses. That should account for all missing capacitors that were not properly documented. So I'm going to put that in there and do my ohm checks and make sure everything is right, and wait on the tube to get in, and go from there. Be back. Okay. I think I've got all these capacitors changed. This was the last one here. This was the last capacitor. It was a 0.01 at 200. I'm sorry. Did I put the wrong one in? Supposed to be a .05. Oh crap, I put the wrong one in. I was wondering, where's that .047 go? I gotta take that out. That's the wrong stinking capacitor. I put an old one in there. Should have been a .05. Alright, my bad. Cut. Alright, let's try this again. Okay, I have all the capacitors changed that I could account for. Don't know how this thing's gonna work. It's either gonna come on, it's not gonna come on, or it's gonna come on and sound like Royal CRAP, or it'll work. Just need a minor alignment, which I don't see that happening. Anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 capacitors, I believe, and a handful of resistors. No, 14. 17 capacitors, including the filters. So it is done. That capacitor I don't think it's needed. I don't know why they put that in there, but that's anyway. I'm going to see. I'm going to check on this pilot light. This right here we determined was the antenna ground for battery power. I guess if you're doing battery, you don't have a return ground through your power cord, so they had to add a return. So I'll put a tie wrap on that right there, just kind of neaten it up a little bit, I guess, and do a few checks. Check the pilot light. Wait on the I think the rectifier tube to come in, and be ready to try this dude. All right. Unless I find something else wrong, the next segment should be me putting the power tube in and powering this thing up. So, see you then.